Hey cozy besties, welcome back, or hello if you're new. My name is Joel, and today I'm gonna go through my summer reading list. I really miss doing like sit-down discussion videos, so I'm gonna be doing one today, but I'm gonna be talking about all of the books I want to read for the rest of the summer, so July and August. Just because there are like a lot of books that have been on my radar recently. I really need to get into some semblance of order, and so I thought I'd discuss some of the books that are on my immediate TBR, as well as like an upcoming like vlog series that I want to do over on the short forms and potentially on YouTube as well. And we're in like a different angle today. Usually I have this angle for like streams and stuff, but I really just wanted to have like all the art in the background whilst I'm like discussing things, sit on my office chair, be able to like swing around, you know? I hope that you're all doing well and that you're looking after yourselves. If you've yet to grab that drink of water or beverage of your choice, please do so, as we must remain well and hydrated. Also, be sure to get yourself a snack as well, because even though we're all snacks here, we need to make sure we're also nourishing ourselves. If you've yet to follow me on my other socials, you definitely should, because I post some extra content that you're not gonna see here. Also, feel free to check out the Cozy Kingdom on Discord, which is an absolutely amazing community of like-minded people where we basically yap and ramble about a lot of different things. And if you've yet to check out my Twitch streams, you absolutely should, because in July we're gonna be doing some very special Hobbit themed streams to celebrate the release of Tales of the Shire coming out at the end of July. I mean, if you want to see me in a Hobbit costume, I feel like it's the place you need to be. Plus, it's the best way to interact with me in real time and talk about books and all of that good stuff, so I would definitely check that out as well. But before we get into all of the books that I want to read this summer, let me introduce you to BookBee, our sponsor for today's video. BookBee is an audio streaming service that gives you access to over 1 million ebooks and audiobooks on your smart devices. There are 3 tiers of hourly-based subscriptions, which means you can choose how many hours you'd like to listen to each month. From the basic plan with 20 hours to the premium plan with a whopping 100 hours. I've been using BookBee for the past couple weeks to get some reading done, and I've loved my experience using the app. It's quite intuitive, delivers some great recommendations through their inspirations page, and there are so many books to choose from, it's easy to get started. You can even create lists and organize books, which is what I do to organize my audiobook TBR. If you'd like to try a BookBee for yourself, then for a limited time only, you can try BookBee for free. So be sure to click the link in my description or scan the QR code here and use code fictionalfates60 for a 60-day free trial, which includes 40 hours of audiobook listening for you to enjoy. Another massive thank you to BookBee for sponsoring today's video. And now we can get back to my summer reading list. So the very first book that I want to read this summer is Stirring Spurs by M.A. Wardell. Now, M.A. Wardell is an author I have absolutely loved reading. Teacher of the Year is probably one of my favorite romances. The romance between Marvin and Olin is absolutely incredible, and when I saw that M.A. Wardell was writing a cowboy romance book, I screamed. And this is essentially part of the Rainbow Ranch series, which is a shared universe between different authors where they write about cowboys, cowgirls, cowbays in their own respective romance books, and I am super excited for all of them. But Stirring Spurs is the very first one, and I just think from all of like the little teasers that I've gotten so far from M.A. Wardell, I just think this book is gonna absolutely eat. I'm just excited to see how Boone, who is kind of like this ultimate caretaker, really falls in love with Wiley, who's kind of like a rugged cowboy. And I don't know, I think it's just gonna be the pinnacle of save a horse, ride a cowboy. So I'm really, really excited for it. The next book that I then want to read is an advanced copy of a book that comes out in September, and that's It's Not a Cult by Joey Beatty. Now, Joey Beatty is Yaskia from the Witcher series on Netflix, if you've watched that. And when I saw that he was coming out with a book, I was immediately excited. When I realized it was a folk horror though, that's when I was screaming, crying, banging my head against the wall, praying I would be able to get in. And Bloomsbury very kindly sent me this. I'm just so excited. So basically, this follows a band who tells the stories of a fictional group of gods. However, when they go viral on the internet, people then start worshipping these gods and they start feeling a little bit more real than not. And so it's really a question of which is more dangerous to anger, a group of wayward gods or your biggest fans. And as we know with all cults and all cults that have gods, they demand sacrifices. And so who is going to get sacrificed? At the end of this, we are going to find out. I'm just really intrigued to see what Joey Beatty has to offer. It looks to be, it's about 300 pages, which is a nice size for a debut, and hopefully it'll be paced quite well, but I'm really intrigued to see what this has to offer. And I don't know, there's something about cults that really fascinate me because I'm researching into them at the minute, because one of my characters in one of the books I write is involved with one of them, and I just find the whole dynamic to be so intriguing. And so I'm so excited to see how Joey Beatty takes it on in this. The next book that I want to read is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, and oh my god. Right, so this is the Broken Binding edition. I unboxed this on stream because I do a lot of my book unboxings now live on stream with everyone, where we just like look at the book, we open it, look at the end papers, like this gorgeous end papers, look at like the nakedness and all of that stuff, like we fully go into it. like that. It's absolutely gorgeous, stunning, amazing. When we read the synopsis out on stream, we were all immediately obsessed. Like, people were ordering the book. People were like, I want to read this. And it just lost out on being the book club pick for July and August because we fundraised over £1,500 for Not a Phase, who are a trans plus charity, last month. And so one of the rewards was that this community gets to pick the next book club pick, which they're voting on the final choices now. And so I think it's going to be really exciting to see which one ends up being the winner. And essentially, to describe this, I would say it's basically like a Suicide Squad, like Dark Avengers-esque situation where like people who have done the absolute worst things, like they're actual devils, have been recruited by a brother Diaz to put a thief on the throne and save everyone from the incoming invasion of elves who will eat everyone. That's a take on elves I haven't read before, but I'm certainly intrigued. And this book will be my first introduction to Joe Abercrombie because whilst I do own his other series and stuff like that, this one isn't attached to any more books as of yet. So I feel like it's a great way to just introduce myself to Joe Abercrombie's writing and see the way he styles his writing and see whether we're a good match. The next book is then one that comes out in September 2025 as well, and that is Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. This is an advanced copy, and I have so many things to say about this. So essentially, this is a prequel to The Prayer of the Orange Tree, which basically follows the fall of Enniskillen, which we see a lot in not only The Prayer of the Orange Tree, but also A Day of Fallen Night, which is the prequel to The Prayer of the Orange Tree as well. Samantha Shannon recommends that for anyone who's wanting to get into the Roots of Chaos series, but doesn't want to see, like, let me show you. Like, these books are quite massive, you know? They're quite huge. And so when you factor in Among the Burning Flowers, it's so much shorter than A Day of Fallen Night and The Prayer of the Orange Tree. And so if you're wanting to get into the Roots of Chaos, then I think Among the Burning Flowers will probably be the best place to start. I also do have like a small little thing that I'm doing with this book. So essentially, I will be interviewing Samantha Shannon at her Bristol tour stop for Among the Burning Flowers, which is an absolutely wild thing to say. I've seen Samantha Shannon talk a lot of times at like talks through her previous books, but then also interview other authors, and the way she goes into depth about her books, the way she goes into depth about other people's books, I just know she's going to be so great to interview, and I really want to come at this with the best that I've got through all of my moderating. And so I cannot wait to like go into this, analyze it, pull some really interesting questions out of this book so that when I get to cheer Samantha in Bristol, it'll be an absolutely amazing time. I will probably include the event listing in the description down below, so if you did want to come along, you can do, and you can say hi and all of that good stuff, and it would be amazing to see some of you guys there. I'm really, really excited to read this. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal because all of Samantha Shannon's work is absolutely amazing. The next book that I then have comes out in August of 2025, and that is Nearly Departed by Lucas Oakley. And a massive thank you to Lucas Oakley and Bedford Square Publishers for sending me this arc. I am so excited to read this, not only because one of the characters has my name, but also just the general premise of this book. So, side premise, I'm working on 2 novels at the minute. One is Wob Wob, which is my gothic dark academia fantasy, which I've talked about for a while now. And then the other one is Covenant, which is my like vampire epic that I haven't really spoken a lot about, and I probably won't. When I don't want to write either of those and I still want to write, I've been working on like a silly passion project, which has been like my fun time book, where it's like unserious. I don't really know if I want to do anything with it, but I just want to write for writing's sake and just do something fun, you know? So I've been working on a rom-com. I'm currently calling it like Office Cupid. It's essentially just like all my favorite elements from like Office K-drama romances, also with a little bit of like fabulistic tendencies. My main character works somewhere quite special, and they are tasked with doing something involving the person they have a crush on, which may make or break their potential relationship. I'm very, very much loving it so far, and it's great. And so this is basically following Joel, who's years after grieving the loss of his girlfriend Beth after she was hit by a cement truck, he decides that he's ready to date again. However, he realizes that he's being haunted by the ghost of Beth, quite literally. This definitely feels like a rom-com in some aspects, but then also in some aspects I think I'm going to be bawling my eyes out. I think that the story in and of itself is going to be quite intriguing, and I don't know, I think I'm gonna love it. Okay, so for the next book, I do have to preface that it's probably gonna take me like almost a year to read this entire series. While you may see some content on the short form platforms, I actually need your help to decide whether I do individual videos for each of these books, like individual reading vlogs, or whether you'd want to see like one massive one at the end where I go through all of the books, because I definitely think I could do either or, but we shall see. I hope to read The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, which is book 1 in the Wheel of Time series. Now, I was initially planning on reading this like a little while ago, like ages ago. That didn't happen, obviously. Life has been lifing a lot this year, and last year as well, actually. Like, the past year and a half has been a lot. I recently watched, and by recently watched, I kind of started episode 1 late at night and then ended up staying up for most of the night and then finishing up to like season 3 like 2-3 days later because I was hooked. But this is thanks to my mod D in the Discord and on Twitch. D is obsessed with the Wheel of Time. It's absolutely amazing and has now gotten me back onto the horse of reading the Wheel of Time. And so after like marathoning the series, being really sad that it was cancelled, signing the petition to try and hopefully bring it back, after seeing like a few people's videos like Daniel Green's and stuff on the Wheel of Time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start it. So I'm hoping to start the Eye of the World this summer. It is quite a thick boy, but so am I. I just think it's gonna be so much fun, and plus I love, if there's one thing you need to know about me, I love these style of fantasy covers. I think there was something we lost when we moved on from these types of fantasy covers to like some of the fantasy covers we get now. I don't know, there's just something so whimsical and magical about this. Do you know what I think it's tied to? I think it's tied to the era of dark fantasy that kind of just like went away. I feel like we need to bring that back. Like not the AI trend of dark fantasy, just like dark fantasy in general. I think we need to bring back those style of covers, like this. I think we need to bring this back. I mean, everything is cyclical, like the wheel. So I feel like I'll come back at some point, but a little ASMR for you. I feel like we need this. Wheel weaves as the wheel wills, I guess. I really want to read this and continue on to all like 14-15 books of the series. There are a lot, hence why I said it was going to take me a long time. This follows Randall Thor, who essentially lives in the Two Rivers. His village is attacked by Trollocs, and him and his friends are saved by Moraine, who basically tells him that one of them is going to be the dragon, the one who's going to take down the Dark One and save everyone from, like, you know, devastation. And so it's a proper like chosen one kind of story that I find really interesting, and I don't know, I'm really excited to read this and just see, one, how it differs from the TV show, because I know there's quite a few differences, but also two, just like how it continues on and progresses throughout the series and eventually how it ends. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. The next book that I want to read is one that comes out in October 2025, and that is The Princess Knight by Kate Jacobs, who is also a bookish content creator. So, you know, I had to do the thing and support my fellow creators. And so essentially, this is Legally Blonde if it was set in the Middle Ages. That immediately sold me. That was all I needed to know. And so this basically follows Clear, who after the prince refuses to propose, she decides to go to his military academy to try and secure the proposal. However, she needs to actually train to become the knight that she needs to be in order to pass all of these tests and stuff. And so warrior Ronan appears on the scene and is just like, I'll help tutor you. Everything from there falls into place. And I don't know, I just think there's something about like a medieval version of Legally Blonde that's more up my street than Legally Blonde itself. I just think someone took two of my biggest obsessions from my childhood, like Knights and Legally Blonde, and put them together to form this book, and I'm not mad about that. So thank you, Kate, and I cannot wait to read this. I cannot wait to devour this. I'm going to devour this. Speaking of devouring, Angie Kills a King by Evan Lakeham is my next book that I want to read, and this is the Broken Binding edition, which devours. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, this is by another bookish content creator. Evan Lakeham's handle is Book Reviews Kill. Absolutely phenomenal creator, absolutely amazing. And I'm really excited to read this book. Ever since I heard the synopsis, I was like, oh, this sounds incredible. And so the premise of this book is exactly what it says on the title. Angie gets the opportunity to kill the king, and so she does, and goes on the run. And then the magical menagerie with their mess essentially come after her, and the hawk finds her first. However, they entered into a tenuous alliance because she has her own reasons for keeping Angie alive, and Angie just doesn't want to die. And so this alliance between them may change the course of the kingdom itself. And so I don't know, I just think there's something about really cool regicide books that I very much eat. And this just comes in at just over 300 pages, so I feel like it's going to be quite like a nice evening read for me, and I just can't wait to see what this delivers. I think it's gonna be so good. The next book that I then want to read is one that is a classic, and I really want to read this in July because it's hot Hobbit summer. Tales of the Shire is releasing at the end of July, and so I thought the best way to celebrate would be to do a reread of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Hobbit is one of those stories I haven't read in years, and I really think it's the best time for me to come back to it now because of the game release, because I think it'd be so fun to talk about the books whilst I'm playing the game. The story in and of itself surrounding Bilbo is just absolutely incredible. And so I really want to re-experience the magic. I re-experience the love that I have for The Hobbit. I just can't wait to see what I think about it now that I'm older. I can't wait to read this. I can't wait to re-experience this story. I made the latter part of my July really fantastical, wonderful, and hobbity. The next book that I then want to read is Overgrowth by Mira Grant. It is the Evernight edition from Illumicray. So gorgeous. I think this is just so absolutely incredible and stunning. Even like the naked board itself is amazing. Overgrowth follows an alien invasion, where basically Anastasia Miller, ever since she was younger, was like, I am an alien trapped in a human body. My family are coming for me. You all need to prepare. And everyone's been like, girl, no. Calm down. You're like delusional. You're not making any sense. And then the aliens do actually come. And so very few family reunions will cross the entirety of space just for one misplaced child. So what else are they doing? What else are they gonna do? And so this essentially is the kind of premise of what do you do when you know what's coming and no one is wanting to listen to you? And so I'm very, very excited to read this. It's quite a chunky book in and of itself. It's like over 400 pages. So I think that I'll read this over like a weekend or something, but I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how Mira Grant delivers on this premise. And Mira Grant also writes under Shauna Maguire. So if you've read the Wayward Children series, then this is by the same author. I'm really, really excited to check this out and see what it has to offer. The next book that you then want to read is one that comes out at the latter part of August, and that is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I don't have an arc yet, hopefully, fingers crossed. The Lords will bless me with one, but I am really, really excited for this. It's one of my anticipated reads for the year, not only because it's a dark academia fantasy, but like, it's a dark academia fantasy written by R.F. Kuang. Like, I loved Babel, absolutely incredible, stunning, amazing, but I'm intrigued to see what I'll take from it. I'm going to be doing some reading of Dante's Inferno before going into Catabasis because it's a journey through hell, and I feel like R.F. Kuang has spoken about how she's referenced Dante's Inferno throughout the story. I think it'll be really interesting to see my thoughts. So basically the premise of this book is two students have to go to the underworld to save the professor's soul so he can write their recommendation letters, and I just think that premise in and of itself is wild and high concept, but also something that I think would be absolutely phenomenal to read about. So I don't know, I'm really intrigued to see like what people are going to take from it. As soon as I read it, I will make sure that y'all know my thoughts. The next book that I then want to read is Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen. This is basically set in a world where magic is fueled by pain or pleasure, and just that in and of itself, I'm already intrigued. But this is a story filled with love, deception, revenge, all of the good stuff that really makes a salivating book. And so I'm really excited. Just really think an adult debut from L.K. Stephen is going to eat so much. And I'm just really looking forward to reading it and seeing what I think, because I think it's going to absolutely slay. Also, the Fairy Loot edition of this book looks absolutely gorgeous, and I already ordered it, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it. The next book that I then want to read, which actually comes out in July of 2025, is Tusk Love by Theo Guanzon, and this is a critical role novel. I haven't dipped my toes into critical role yet. I know. So many of you are going to be screaming at me in the comments to go and experience it, and I will be, but I also really want to read this romantasy. So that's the trade-off. I will read this and then I'll go experience Critical Role, I promise. But basically on the back it says, a merchant's daughter who yearns for adventure gets more than she bargained for when she falls for a broodingly handsome stranger. And this is like a grumpy ex-sunshine romantasy, and I don't know, I'm really excited for it. I think it's just gonna be so cute. Also, it's like just under 267 pages. It's gonna be a nice train ride read where I can just like sit and like have the sun beaming down because it's been so hot lately. Like I'm in a vest because it's so hot, and just like experience this book. The main character is called Guinevere, which immediately sets my Arthurian brain off. Absolutely love, absolutely slay. I think this book is just sizzling with promise, and I cannot wait to experience it. And then we've got two things left. And so the penultimate thing that I want to get through this summer is The Wicked Lives of Habron Fair by Anna Fiteni. And this is essentially a romantasy inspired by Welsh mythology, written by a Welsh author. And I've been waiting for this for so long, oh my god. I am so excited. I'm sorry, but like this book, oh, it's gorgeous. It releases in August, and you bet I'm going to nom it up. Hopefully I will get my hands on an arc. It has fairies, it has sisterhood, it just has everything that I want in like a really cool book. And additionally with Welsh mythology as well, I just think this book might become my new personality. This book might become something I like scream about. I can't wait. I cannot wait to read it. I think cover in and of itself is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's so perfectly designed, and they comp it to like Feybound and Leigh Bardugo, which immediately sounds like it's right up my alley. Hopefully I love it, because I really want to see more Welsh books and Welsh authors succeed. I really just want Welsh writers to have their moment within the romantasy fantasy space. But I really want to do like a gay Arthurian Welsh mythology romantasy, kind of. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this book. And then the last thing that I want to do this summer is start tackling my physical TBR properly. And I have a plan for this. Essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my TBR cart, put a bunch of books back on from my physical TBR that I want to read, that either are like the first book in a series or a standalone, and just like prioritize that. And then I'm going to do a wheel spin to basically decide which books I then want to read from the TBR cart, instead of just like waiting until I'm in the mood for it, because I do need to start whittling down my physical TBR because it's getting a little bit out of control. I don't know how many books are on there, and I don't think I ever ever will want to like formally count publicly, just because I have personal boundaries, and you know, I think that's one of them for me. I just really want to like start whittling that down and start like properly going through all of my books and seeing which ones I love, which ones I don't really like, which ones I can unhaul and stuff like that. Because I definitely think, whilst I love having a lot of books, I don't ever want to have too many books. I don't want to keep a book I hate because it's pretty. I'd rather that go to a loving home, you know? So I want to make sure that like all of the books that I have here are ones that I really like, ones that I haven't read yet, or just ones that like bring a sense of joy to me. You know, like Marie Kondoing my books, but through a convoluted solution because I have ADHD. But I think what I'll probably end up doing is doing a short form series where I'll like go through all of them there, and then doing like a longer form kind of once every couple of books we'll do like a whole vlog about it, which I think could be very fun as well. My only issue is with series, what I do with that, because TikTok doesn't allow you to put videos in multiple playlists, and so I need to figure that kind of part out. And now I'm gonna order all of these books up so I can do the outro. These are all the books I'd like to get through this summer. In the next 2 months, which I think is doable given the fact that I do a lot of co-working streams. We're doing a pajama party stream in July as well, which I think is gonna be quite nice. Also, like, trying to make more time for reading at night, and so I definitely think like having one of these books on hand would be pretty good. Additionally, I do have some reading to do for the new adult book prize. However, I feel like that's gonna be something that I do in like my work time, and just trying to prioritize just like getting back into like loving books again, because I've definitely had a rocky relationship with reading this year. It's not been the best, but I definitely think like getting myself hyped and excited for these books is really gonna help with that. I'm just really looking forward to it and sharing my journey of reading this summer with you, and hopefully we'll have a hot reading summer and I can just like get better at the gym, get better in books. Healthy body, healthy mind, you know? I think that's gonna be my mantra from now on. Like, healthy body, healthy mind. Healthy body with the gym, healthy mind with the books, you know? And I go to the gym so I can lift these books. Like, look, I just need to prove this. I'm holding this pile with one hand, and it's not even that heavy. And so I'm very proud of that. A massive thank you for joining me today. As always, it's always nice just to sit down, talk with you all, and just yap about books. I think it's always a fun time. And a massive thank you to BookBeat for sponsoring today's video as well. Feel free to use the link in the description down below, or scan the QR code here and use code fictional60 in order to get a 60-day free trial complete with 40 hours of audiobook listening. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, be sure to click that subscribe button so that you're notified whenever I upload next. I will admit they are a bit sporadic at the minute, but I think that's fine. And if you've yet to follow my other socials, feel free to go and do so you can follow me on every single other platform. Also, come and join us over on the Discord because there are absolutely amazing people there. We might have some stuff going on in July that you might want to be aware of. And also you can find out what our next book club pick is, which will be announced very soon. And also feel free to follow me on Twitch for all of the co-working goodness when we stream Tales of the Shire at the end of July. And I think we're playing Date Everything next, where basically me, a chaotic bisexual, will be testing my object permanence by dating objects around a house. The objects do turn into humans. Anyways, as always, it's amazing to have you here, and I can't wait to see you again soon. So, until the next time, bye besties.